Joined in studio by Cosatu General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi, that's to discuss SARTU's March. A very good morning to you. Always a pleasure to have you in studio. Panyaza Lesufi, Basic Education Minister spokesperson, says that only 1 out of 7 of the teachers' union will be participating, and he doesn't think this will be any big march. What do you say? What's the turnout expected today?
How does he know that? Is he a magician of some kind? Eh? And surely the members of SARTU, and I guess a lot more other educators who agree with the demand, will be out in the streets today in full force and to back the demands that we believe are absolutely legitimate. The issue to us and at the center of the dispute is that the Department of Education must respect collective agreements when it has signed them. There is an agreement that was signed in April in 2011, and that agreement says that the educators must be rewarded in a particular way when it comes to marking of the exams, and the department have just unilaterally withdrew from the agreement, citing that it does no longer have the resources. But it does so unilaterally without following any due processes.
Now that's just one of your complaints.
You're
also calling for Minister Angie Motshekga and her DG to resign.
Of course, if somebody doesn't respect collective agreements, which is the basic tenet of any relationship that you should maintain with your trade union, then you have no business of being in the position that you occupy. But the SARTU demands go beyond just respect for collective agreements. They're highlighting the fact that until this moment, there are schools all over the country that have not received their textbooks. That's despite us being assured over and over again that that issue will not reoccur in 2013. They're highlighting the fact that in a lot more schools, we still have terrible working conditions, terrible situations facing the learners without laboratories, without libraries, without basic infrastructure, without security, without support staff such as clerks, and which means the burden is shifted more and more to the shoulders of the teachers who play more than just being educators.
And yet when the minister does come in and try and put in some sort of new initiatives that will improve education, things like attendance monitoring for teachers, you still come out against her.
No, we have not come out against the issue of monitoring attendance at school. We cannot. We're saying that those things ought to be a process of a negotiated agreement with the teachers. You can't just stand up anywhere and say, here is a set of new rules without any due regard to the fact that you have teachers organized into unions which becomes their agent for negotiating with the department.
The call for her resignation, is it not going to further divide unions and government? I know she has a lot of support from President Jacob Zuma. She also has a lot of support from the ANC Women's League. What's this going to do for an already strained relationship between you and government?
If you look at what Cosatu and every Cosatu affiliate have been saying, we have been making a call on the leadership to intervene, to avoid a situation that we're going to be experiencing today, to ensure that there is a facilitated discussion between SARTU and the Department of Education to resolve the issues that have led to the situation that we unfortunately have to go through today. We do respect the fact that today is going to lead to massive disruption of the education system in our country, something that we can ill afford, bearing in mind its total consequences to our politics and our economy and our future as a whole. But we think that this should have been avoided if there was an early intervention, which was not forthcoming, unfortunately.
Lastly, let's take a look at today's action that you just talked about and just touched on. I believe Cosatu is calling for pupils to show some sort of solidarity with the teachers and perhaps stay away from school or show sympathy in one way or another. You're a parent. Is this absolutely necessary? Should they not be in classrooms getting educated? Have you exhausted all possible avenues before you've reached this point and called for the pupils to intervene?
Let's clarify. We are calling for support from the parents we're calling for support and understanding from the learners, despite the fact that their day is going to be disrupted today, but we feel that they must support the demands that have led to the union taking it onto the streets. We have not called them out of the classrooms. I think that the statement of Comrade Tony Ehrenreich, the Western Cape Cosatu Provincial Secretary, was misunderstood. When we call for support of parents and learners, we're not necessarily saying that the learners must leave the classrooms and join the marches.
So what we're saying that today when the teachers are protesting, they must be in class. We're calling for them to support the demand one way or another. Of course, they will be in the classes. They will do everything that they can do without the teachers, and that's why the call that the Western Cape, and which we support, is making is that the teachers, of course, will make sure that the day that was lost today is one way or another reversed, so that the damage is not that at the end of the day we can count this day as a loss in the education system as a whole. Now, just before you go, I must ask you this. You saw this clip, NUMSA's Urban Gym. You knew I was going to throw it in there. I need your reaction from this allegedly calling for a special Congress meeting to discuss your fate, your future. Do you know anything about this?
Well, I've seen statements being made in public. Let me just tell you the damage that the sources, the faceless individuals, have created in South Africa. You now, and most of the news agencies take it as a fact that there is an investigation against the General Secretary.
But you saw the clip.
No, I've
seen it. You saw the clip of him saying that people on the ground are asking for a special meeting to discuss your situation.
I'm coming to that point. I'm coming to the damage that the sources are causing to the unity and cohesion of the Federation by misrepresenting and twisting every discussion as unanimous sources in the newspapers. And now it is taken as given that what they have been peddling, the lie that they have been peddling, that there is an investigation, is a gospel truth. A lot of South Africans now have come to believe that surely there is a truth in that. Not true. Again, let's repeat that over and over. There is no investigation. There is a process to achieve greater levels of unity and cohesion in the structures of the Federation. But on the question that NUMSA is relating to, yesterday we wrote another letter to all unions to say, please, let's refrain from using the public platforms in engaging with an internal unity and cohesion process of the Federation. Let's use the internal structures. Whether the call is to support, criticize, or do anything in relation to the current Cosatu leadership, let's do that not in the public platforms. Let's use the internal processes. That remains our appeal in this morning.
Okay, now you've spoken about the various structures and the unions. Just quickly before we go, we're really pressed for time, so a very short answer on this one. Corruption Watch, we believe, investigating some of the unions. What can you tell us about that? Do you know anything about it?
Well, Corruption Watch issued a statement yesterday to categorically state that there is no Cosatu union under investigation. The Mail and Guardian article was absolutely misleading because it created an impression that there are about 5 unions in Cosatu that are being investigated. When you read that article carefully, there is nowhere where the director of Corruption Watch confirmed what was the headline in the Mail and Guardian, that there is such an investigation.
There we go. Thank you so much. Short and to the point. That was Cosatu General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi. We went on and on because we discussed several things there that are making headlines this morning, including, of course, the teachers' strike, and we'll bring you more information on that as it develops.
News that moves. eNCA.com.